Hey guys, today's editorial is about China and the Quad, and this editorial appeared in the Indian Express. Starting with the keywords related to this theme of the Quad, the first is this phrase which reads, China retains only its proper place. Now guys, this is a negative way of saying. This means that we want to ensure that China retains just its proper place. It is the word retains which is making it negative. So this means that this statement has come from the Quad side of the debate. If China had said this same statement, it would have used the word regain or gain instead of retain, and it would have used the word deserved place instead of proper place. So this nuance you need to keep into account whenever you talk about these things. So mind this language, the words that you use. The next keyword in this theme will be Asian NATO. Then we have maritime centric concerns and Shinzo Abe's confluence of two seas address to the Indian Parliament. Now, these are all words and phrases which you'll use to describe the different sides of the debate. So Asian NATO is China's view of the situation. China has branded the Quad as Asian NATO because USA is leading it. So you can use this to highlight China's concerns. Then maritime centric concerns and Abe's confluence of two seas addressed to the Indian Parliament. You can use these accordingly whenever you wish to talk about the Quad side of the debate. Similarly, we have other words also, different parties, the opposing parties, they'll be looking at the same thing differently. So we have broader Asia, and this is a more positive view of the situation, a positive view from the Quad side of the angle. So we have Asian NATO on one extreme and broader Asia on the other extreme. Then we have democratic security diamond. This phrase you can use. South China Sea, Belt and Road Initiative, they will have to be present when we talk about China. Whatever question be it, whether it is about Quad, whether it is generally about China's hegemony, these will be there. Then we have amongst the objectives of Quad, which is to create a free, open and inclusive regional architecture, rules of the road, freedom of navigation and overflight, and ASEAN centrality. So these are very common terms amongst the objectives of the Quad. Then we have this phrase, rise of China. Now guys, this phrase is particularly used to highlight the Chinese hegemony. Rise is the word that is used and not growth. If we use growth of China, that will talk about the positive angle, but if we say rise of China, that highlights the hegemony part. So you need to use this word only. Then we have the phrase containing its rise. So if we have hegemony, if we have rise of China, the opposite will be to contain its rise. We can't say control its rise or regulate its rise because that much power the Quad doesn't have. So containing its rise can be used, or even countering its rise can be used, but not controlling or regulating its rise. Then we have the very regular terms Asia Pacific, Indo Pacific, and if we talk about China ASEAN relations, we have the 5-point formula of China. Then we have the phrase strategic autonomy, which is highly stressed upon by India. So this phrase is important. We have Malabar naval exercise. Now this is important because when we talk about the Quad and China relations, we talk about this region of Indo-Pacific and Asia-Pacific. So Malabar naval exercise, any military exercise, big military exercise is important, and Malabar is one of them. Then we have the Shangri-La event also. You can quote this event. You can also quote the recent Mamallapuram summit between India and China. That will be all in the keywords part. Coming now to the vocabulary, the first word is given in the title itself. The word is wary. Wary means to be cautious of some possible future danger. The next word is plain speaking. Plain speaking means speaking plainly. That means speaking in an unambiguous manner, but speaking bluntly. So it doesn't have that element of courtesy. So when anybody speaks bluntly, when anybody is very straightforward but is blunt, that is known as plain speaking. Then we have the word malicious. Malicious means trying to cause harm intentionally. Trying to harm somebody intentionally is malicious. Many other words are synonyms of malicious. For example, malevolent is there. For example, vengeful is there. Spiteful is there. Harmful is there. If we talk about the antonyms of malicious, we can use the word benevolent, we can use the word harmless or forgiving, gentle, etc. The next word is slandering. Slander means किसी पर कीचड़ उछालना. So to talk in a bad manner or to bring a bad name to somebody, that is known as slandering. Then we have the word branded. Now, brand is a simple word, but I've used this word here in order to distinguish it from the word highlight. Now, if I say that somebody has branded something, or if I say somebody has highlighted something, there's a big distinction, because to brand something means किसी पे कोई ठप्पा लगा देना. Somebody is not willing to change one's mind. Whatever image one has got about something, that image is what one sticks with. But if I use the word highlighted, somebody has highlighted something, that means there's a positive tinge to it. There is a scope of improvement, there's a scope of change when I use the word highlighted. But when I use the word somebody branding something, there is no scope of any change. So there's a negative tinge with branded, and there's a positive angle to highlighting. The next is a phrase. It reads upped the ante. Upped means to increase. It is a form of the word up, which is to rise, and ante you can think of as a threshold. So to increase the threshold or to make something more difficult or more risky is called as upping the ante. Then we have the word sinister. Sinister means something very bad. Yesterday we did a word nefarious. So something extremely wicked will be nefarious. Nefarious is one step ahead of sinister, and sinister means something very bad. So we are talking about a plot here. Yesterday we discussed the difference between plot and plan. So now you can see here the word is negative, and that is why this adjective sinister has been used with the word plot. And you have the word hatching used here. So hatched a plot or hatched a conspiracy, that is what you use. The last word is egregious. Egregious means extraordinary but in a bad way. So this is a similar comparison to the word popular and notorious. Something which is popular but in a bad way, we call it notorious. Similarly, something which is extraordinary but in a bad way, we call it egregious. So these words you need to take care of. That will be all in today's video, guys. Please don't forget to like, comment and share.